Hi, this is Sara Levin, the Artful Inker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today is the Global Stampin' Video Hop. So after you've watched this video, be sure to check the link below and hop on for the next Fun Fold card. I'm sharing with you this Center Pop-Out Shutter card. So let me set this aside and we'll get started. For the stamping portion of this card, we're using the Poinsettia Petals bundle. That's a stamp set and the Poinsettia Dies. Now these can be found in the August through December Stampin' Up! Mini Catalog or in my Stampin' Up! Store. You can find them by clicking the link by the Shop the Card in the description below. And when you buy them as a bundle, you receive a discount on the purchase price. So let's start with our Real Red ink pad, and we're going to build the poinsettia for the front of the card. I just want to set this on to get started, and then I'm going to turn it over. Now I have double mounted my stamps on this block so that I'll have two of the poinsettia pieces ready to stamp. And I just want to give that a rub so that it has a chance for that ink to transfer to paper. Okay, and then we're going to set the next size down on my Real Red ink pad. And let's see if we can fit that right in here. And press and hold. And pop this out of the way. And then we have the smallest layer here. Okay, and while we're here, we're going to stamp a couple of poinsettias for the inside of the card. I've got a piece of scrap here because I'm going to hang off just a little bit. And again, just reminding you that I will have measurements for these pieces on my blog. It's just an easy PDF download instead of you trying to copy down sizes while you're watching. And then I've already cut a mask, just turning this to make sure that it lines up with the pieces here. Oh, one more turn, maybe two more turns. Let's see. That looks pretty good. Okay, and we want to stamp this small piece again. Now I do like to cut my masks from text weight paper. That way you don't get as much a border from where the paper just lifts from your stamp. And then this is crushed curry ink, and I'm going to stamp the center for my poinsettia in the crushed curry. And let's set this aside and we'll do that again. So two of these, that's the smallest poinsettia, and I'm turning it to get the least amount hanging off the edge. And then here's my mask. I cut this by hand. You can choose to use the dies, but if you do that, you will have a little more border area. So you will have more white space between your layers. And let's go ahead and get the center for these done. Okay. Those are real easy to match up. Now I'm going to close up both of these inks. Nope, one more little bit with the Real Red. I forgot about the fill stamp. We're going to use that on the inside. And let's see. We're just adding little bits. I'm not looking to completely fill in my poinsettia. So this is just because I've layered these, you're just going to kind of sort of line them up. They don't have to be perfect. They look great just like that. Okay, and now we need our garden green, and we're going to stamp some holly leaves. Let me move these out of the way, and we'll bring this back over. And I'm never sure when I stamp leaves exactly how many I'm going to want, so I always stamp a couple of extra. And in this case, I'm going to do 5. I'm not sure that I want 5. It changes as I put things together. So next I've got 2 pieces here, and we're going to stamp holly leaves on those. And again, the holly leaf will hang off just a little bit. And you're going to turn one direction and the other direction. Okay. Okay, and then we'll do the next bit of stamping. Let's stamp 2 more pieces here for the interior of our card. And let's see, I need that real red again. And there's kind of a berry stem in there. And I want to pull this down. And then we've got the berries that fill this, or the fill stamp, I should say. And then let's move this one just a little bit. And do that fill stamp again. Oops. Got to turn it just a little bit more. There we go. Put that out of the way. Move this real red out of the way. And then back to my garden green. I've got this piece of evergreen greenery. And I'm going to fill with that. Okay, almost finished with our pieces for the inside. We'll do our sentiment next, so let's move these out of the way. Since we're going to stamp directly on my pieces, I'm going to set my sentiment down here on my grid and use that straight edge from the stamp to make sure that it's straight on my block. And then I've got 2 pieces here. I'm also going to set those up with the grid paper in an effort to make sure that these are as straight as possible. Let's see how I did. I did not do. So let's pull this a little closer to me over here. Lovely thing, paper has 2 sides. So I think this is straight. There's a little bit of an optical illusion going on looking down from the lights. Oh, that's much better. Okay, so let's do the second piece. And this one is going to be a just fits kind of thing. Let's see how I did and whether I'm stamping again. That's pretty close, and for me that's close enough. Okay, so let me take these pieces and die cut, and I'll be back and we'll begin to assemble our card. Now for the mechanism of our pop-out shutter card, we're going to need our Stampin' trimmer, and I've got a piece of garden green cardstock. I will try to mention measurements, but if I don't, have no worries. There will be a link in the description below to my blog post where you can download the measurements to go with this, so you're not having to stop and copy as I go along. So we're going to score all the way down at 2 1/8 with this in landscape. I'm just checking over and over that I've got the right mark here. And then I'm at 4 1/4. And then I do need to swing my arm out here. And we're going to go to 6 3/8, which is right here at the edge of the gray. Okay, and then we're going to move this to portrait, and I'm looking at 1 7/8, and I'm going to score all the way down. And then, because I didn't remeasure, I'm going to do this at 1 7/8 again and again, scoring all the way across. And then I want to put in 2 short scored sections now that I have these additional score lines, and I'm going to do that at 1, and so I'm going to start at the bottom score line and go to the top score line, and then put this in at 7 1/2 and do the same thing. I'm going slowly, trying not to come down into that other section. Okay, and now we're going to cut. So we're going to put this first score line in the track. Let me put my scoring blade up here out of the way and grab my cutting blade, and let me fold this in, and perhaps you can see. We're going to start at 1, which is over on this right hand side here, and we're going to come down to 7 1/2, and then we're going to put this other line in the track and do the same thing again. Start at 1 and come down to 7 1/2. Okay, all of those measurements and cutting directions will be on that PDF you can download from my blog. No need to rewind and all of that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just fold this in half and crease, and then I'm going to fold this section all the way back and crease, and the same thing here. And then we'll worry about moving things in another direction. So these come up and fold out. This center goes in. This center goes up in a mountain, as does this one. And then this becomes a valley fold on either end. Okay, so you've got valley, mountain, valley on the top and bottom, and the same thing, you've got valley, mountain, valley here. Okay, so let's start and put this card together. Okay, now that our pieces are all stamped and die cut, let's start and decorate the inside, and then we'll put the whole card together. So I'm going to start by putting my sentiment rectangles on here, And they're going to go in the center here. And then, let's see, let's spread these out. I'm going to put one of my poinsettias in this rectangle. And we'll, oh, this is not straight. Let's nudge it right back up into straight. There we go. Love my multi-purpose glue for being able to shift things around. It is my favorite adhesive that I use. Okay. And we'll put the other poinsettia on. And our last berries. Okay. And then I've got 4 rectangles of Toile Tidings designer paper to anchor the 4 corners here. Okay, and here's our last one. And to bracket the sentiment, I'm using gold foil. And I've embossed that gold foil with this Wrapped in Texture embossing folder. It's in the Stampin' Up! August to December mini catalog. It's a pair of embossing folders. And I love the small design on them. Okay, I want my leaves pointing in, I think, rather than out. Nope, I think I want them out. Oops. I keep twisting it just past. Okay, so there's the inside of our card. Now, let's put that into our card base. So we need to fold this up. It's okay that this piece comes out in front of everything else. So I've got a thick, very vanilla card base, and I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus. Let's make sure it's started here. Almost. And I'm just going to, I need to pull this where I can see it. And I'm just coming down all the way down this edge. And here. We want to make sure that we're good and adhered on this outside piece because the rest of it does not get, the inside fold pieces will not be adhered. So we're going to check our spacing here. Let's do this over on this side. This always makes me, this is the part that makes me nervous because once you stick it down, it's down. So I think I'm good. And it's there for better or worse. Okay, same thing, we're going to add the Stampin' Seal down this side as well. This is a stronger adhesive, and when you do cards or boxes that are going to be handled, opened and closed often, then you need the stronger adhesive. Okay, and then for this side, we're simply going to fold our card closed. And there we go. Our mechanism works. We're right side up. Now we need to finish the front of the card. Let me put that out of the way. I have a different pattern in the Toile Tidings designer paper, and we're going to put that on the front. This pack of paper is in garden green and real red. Okay, and let's bring in, I die cut some gold sprigs, and of course our poinsettia and the holly leaves, and then I've got a garden green circle here. Okay, so first we're going to put some ribbon down, and I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape across the front here. Okay, and let's just give that a little burnish with my bone folder. There we go. And I'm using the Mossy Meadow striped ribbon from the mini catalog. Now I know it says Mossy Meadow, but it's not that far off. It's in the same tone family, but just not the same shade. Let me bring my ribbon scissors in as I cut this just a smidge long. That'll do. And then I've got a piece of the real red braided trim and the adhesive sheet, and I'm just going to stick this. I always forget which side it has the adhesive, and it's the side that you pull back. This is divided into 3 convenient pieces, and let me just pull that off. And as long as we're sticky on the ends, life is beautiful. Okay. Let's turn this over. And we're just going to make sure that we're stuck down on either end. Oops. And again, I've cut just a smidge long. So let's grab those ribbon scissors again and give this a little bit of a trim. Okay. And we'll put the adhesive sheet out of the way. We don't need that any longer. Okay, I've got a circle cut from garden green with the Stitch Shapes dies. Those might be the favorite dies that I own. Not 100% positive. I just know I use them a lot. And if somebody were asking for a basic set of dies, I think these would be my recommendation. Okay, so let's stack up our poinsettia here. And I'm just going to use some dimensionals between the pieces to give it a little bit of lift. And let me grab the minis just in case. I'm not sure. Oh, lovely. That will fit without showing. Okay. Don't need the tag-along backing. Okay. So I'm just going to add adhesive right here on the center, because I like to leave my pieces a little bit free to move. When you adhere them down completely, they just look different than if you leave these ends so that they're loose. Oops, got a bit of die cut hanging on there. Okay, so next we're going to tuck in some of the sprigs, and as you know, I like to do a little dry fit kind of thing. Okay, so I'm going to cut these bottom bits off to make them short enough to fit back here. And then we're just going to hit them with just a little bit of multi-purpose glue down near the bottom. Again, leaving these things a little bit loose. They give an airier look. Okay. And then let's see where we want to tuck in our leaves here. I think right here. And then our last bit of gold. So again, adhesive right on the end that's tucking in and leaving the rest loose. That will be adhered enough. And then let's cut this down as well. Yes, perfect. Let's move much of this out of the way and finish the poinsettia here. I've got some pearl basic jewels, and we're just going to put a few of those on the center of the poinsettia. Now there is a lovely pearl embellishment in the not quite coming off my, there we go, in the mini catalog. And so now that is it for our center pop-out shutter card, all ready for someone that deserves a really lovely Christmas card. Thanks for stopping by. This was Sara Levin, the Artful Inker of theartfulinker.com. You can give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell if you'd like to receive notifications of my next video. And if you look in the description below, you'll find the link to shop this card, and you'll find the link to the next video in today's Global Stampin' Video